Good evening and welcome to a very special episode of The Buck Stops Here. A day after India sent a very clear message to Pakistan that if Pakistan tried to help infiltrators coming in through the line of control, India would strike hard. We bring you a very special interview with the Corps Commander of the 15 Corps. It's his first major televised interview in which he tells us how his forces in more than 400 kilometers across the line of control are absolutely resolute and are ready to defend. Also coming up on this program, a story not really spoken of enough, the story of young Kashmiris, 17 or 18 years of age, eager to join the Indian Army. We travel to the Jammu and Kashmir Light Infantry Regiment. This is the story of the Indian Army that is perhaps not told enough. Behind me are young Kashmiris training to become soldiers in the Indian Army. They are part of the Jammu and Kashmir Light Infantry and they are going through an extensive and rigorous training process. And the numbers of young Kashmiris who want to join the Indian Army are remarkable. Just in the last few months, there were 30,000 people who tried to join this regiment for just 700 vacancies. For months, images from South Kashmir have almost always been of protesters throwing stones or security forces fighting militants in encounters. But not many remember that each and every year, upwards of 1,500 young Kashmiri teens, boys like the ones you see here, join the Indian Army. Many come here, the regimental centre of the Jammu and Kashmir Light Infantry, an army regiment with a reputation as formidable as older army units.
पिछले साल से ट्रेनिंग कर रहा हूं साहब और मैं बहुत ही खुश हूं कि मैंने भारतीय फौज जो है ज्वाइन किया है, इंडियन आर्मी ज्वाइन किया है. As we know, Indian Army is the only organization which provide us many facilities. बहुत पढ़ा, मैं ट्यूशन भी पढ़ रहा था, घर में बहुत सारी प्रॉब्लम थी, इनकम प्रॉब्लम भी थी, लेकिन मैं उसके बावजूद भी पढ़ता रहा और मजदूरी भी करता रहा साथ साथ में और भारतीय फौज ज्वाइन कर दिया.
दिन ब दिन जो भर्तियां होती रहती हैं, अपने जगले रेजिमेंट भी करती हैं, तो उससे बहुत जो बेरोजगार हैं उनको जॉब मिलती है, लेकिन उनको एक काम करना चाहिए कि पहले से अपना फिजिकल स्टैंडर्ड जो है हाई रखना चाहिए.
वो फिजिकल स्टैंडर्ड क्या जरूरत था?
सबसे जो फिजिकल स्टैंडर्ड में अपना जो शरीर है वो बचा के रखना है. कम से कम दिन में जो 2-3 किलोमीटर रनिंग करनी चाहिए. और भी बहुत से फिजिकल एक्टिविटीज़ हैं, जैसे हम यहाँ पे चिन अप, पुश अप और टू टच वगैरह जो करते हैं, जिससे हमें फिजिकल स्टैंडर्ड में बहुत मेहनत मिलता है कि हम अपना फिजिकल स्टैंडर्ड हाई बनाए और अपने टेस्ट क्वालिफाई कर पाते हैं.
In villages and towns scattered across the Kashmir Valley are families of these boys. Many of their fathers were a part of this regiment. In fact, as many as 40% of the young recruits joining this force come from army families.
Come.
Keeping up this tradition, the army says is essential, not only for regimental pride, but also to send out the broader message that the Jaklai regiment is an integral part of this state. At a time when there is so much tension in Kashmir, where chants of Azadi dominate public protests, these young boys are exposed to a reality many had not dreamt about. The idea of a 100% Jammu and Kashmir force within a cohesive Indian army, a regiment where religion takes a backseat to one's identity as an Indian soldier. 50% of Jaklai soldiers are Muslim, 45% are Dogras and 5% are Sikhs. They are all from this state. Soldiers in the regiment pray at a common mandir, masjid and gurdwara. They eat together and they fight together. One of India's greatest soldiers, the Paramveer Chakra winner Captain Bana Singh, who captured a seemingly impregnable Pakistani post in the Siachen Glacier, is from this regiment.
In my instance, when I had gone on a line of control, when one of my Dogra Jawan was a mine casualty, the Sikh Jawan, he took out his turban, tied his leg, and the Muslim Jawan Khurshid, he lifted him and brought back with fireman lift about half a kilometer behind. So it was a classic example of Mandir Masjid Gurudwara, a Dogra Jawan becoming casualty, turban being tied by with his leg being tied with turban by a Sikh Jawan, and a Muslim Jawan carrying him.
The widows of men who served here are not forgotten. Lal Jan Begum's late husband won a Veer Chakra in the 1971 war. She is here today because this boy, her grandson, wants to join the same regiment.
हमारा दादा यहाँ पे थे, वो 1971 की जंग में मतलब करगिल में शहीद हुए. उसके बाद मेरे पापा और मेरे जो चाचा हैं, उनका भी रोजगार नहीं था, वो छोटे थे उस दिन. उसके बाद यह इसी पलटन ने मतलब रोजगार दिया उनको, वो भी यहीं पे नौकरी कर रहे हैं. जी इसका बहुत हम शुक्र.
और आप इस पलटन
में ज्वाइन करना चाहते हो? हाँ, इसको शौक है.
Teenagers like Tanveer are inspired by the likes of Lieutenant Umar Fayaz, the 22-year-old Kashmiri officer who was kidnapped and murdered by terrorists when he was on leave to attend a family wedding in his hometown in Kulgam a few weeks back. These two men were his friends but are worried about militants and don't want to reveal their identities on camera.
उसका माँ बाप बहुत ही गरीब था, उसने उसको पाल पोस के बड़ा किया ताकि हमारे सपने भी आगे बढ़ जाकर पूरे हो सके. जब वो थोड़ा आगे जा निकला, मतलब अपने कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम देने के लिए चला गया था, वो इसने क्वालिफाई किया. तो क्योंकि वो पहले से बहुत एफिशिएंट लड़का था और उसने एग्जाम क्वालिफाई किया, और बाद में वो छुट्टी पे आया और यहाँ से शादी करने के लिए गया तो वहाँ पे उसने मिलिटेंट उसने मार दिया.
उमर सर तो बहुत बढ़िया लड़का था, वो हमारे साथ खेलता कूदता था. तो
क्या खेलता था?
क्रिकेट खेलता था, फुटबॉल खेलता था हमारे साथ.
क्योंकि स्पोर्ट्स में काफी माहिर थे.
जी सर, बहुत माहिर था सर.
Kashmiri soldiers who joined Jackline know all too well that they may be targeted by militants, and their families are worried as well. But for the moment, the threat posed by militants hasn't in any way deterred thousands of young Kashmiris from trying to join this regiment. After the murder of Lieutenant Umar Fayaz, the army is reviewing its measures to protect soldiers from Kashmir. And each and every soldier here has been briefed on what to do to protect themselves in the hostile environment around them, particularly when they go on leave. In Srinagar, with Sheikh Tariq, Vishnu Shom for NDTV.